Welcome to Sundown Sports. We're back. Took a month break. Me and Kyle are here with you guys. It's a good month break. It's been well needed, well deserved.
Much needed, yeah.
Not a lot going on in July. The biggest sport was World Cup soccer. And boo, we saw how that went. Not very good. So we took a little break. We're back. We're better. Are we Twitter verified blue?
No.
If you're watching this episode, I want you to go to our Twitter and check to see if we're going to be Twitter verified blue by the time you're watching this episode. And we just may be, which is a big deal. Big deal.
I don't see it yet.
Well, you got to wait till the episode comes out. As soon as you might watch the episode, we might be. We might be. You got to go to Twitter and check us out.
Nice.
And we'll see if we're verified blue through Twitter, which isn't anything cool anymore because you just pay for it. But the number one thing that Apple let me do is edit tweets.
Oh.
Which is much needed. I need to be able to edit the tweets because it's
mostly for grammar.
Yes, a lot of grammar.
That's right.
But we took our month break. We now have a drone.
Oh,
we're going to get some drone footage. We'll see if we'll put it into this episode. We're verified blue on Twitter. Maybe check it out. And the best part after this month break, football's back.
Yeah, football's officially back. Excited.
And everyone watching their teams in their training camps and are just overly optimistic is the best part of the year. Coming in August, watching your team do good in training camp, and just being like, this is our year.
Everyone's 0-0, a lot of expectations, a lot of optimism, and then it never works out.
Yeah, and then you're
7-9, and you're like, shit, we'll try this again next year.
But you guys got a lot to go for. The Jets have Aaron Rodgers; he's looking good. The AFC East is probably going to be a really good division this year. The Dolphins are looking good. The Bills are looking good. The Patriots, did you see what their beat report writer said?
No.
He said that they don't have a wide receiver 1 or 2. They may have a wide receiver 3.
That's tough when you don't really have a QB1 either.
No, they don't.
So you want to surround your guy with help, and they don't have help. They have some tight ends though, right? Didn't they get a nice big tight end signing? The Patriots. I mean, it's not going to matter.
No, Mac Jones is just not the answer, and there's already people calling for Zappy.
That's going to be their biggest problem, and I've said it. If you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none, and that's what the problem is. The Jets have had that problem forever, so New England never had to worry about that. They had Tom Brady, and now they have to deal with oh no, we don't get a guaranteed bona fide all-star to hike the ball to every single down. What are we going to do? And it's that's 90% of the NFL. You have to deal with that. It sucks.
It's terrible. You would think you could find 32 dudes who could sling the rock, but it's obviously more than that. But the Jets and Dolphins, I think, were at our highest for optimism we've been in years.
Yeah, which is cool. I think a lot of people are tired. I don't want to say tired. I think people are excited for parity. And it seems like this is one of those years where it's we don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, you have the juggernauts. The Chiefs are always going to be like that team. The Bills need to get over the humps of the playoffs, but they're always the best team in the regular season. But it seems like there's a lot more of you don't want to play that team. And that's what you want. You don't want a bunch of, back in the day, it was the Browns are terrible. The Jets are terrible. You don't want that. You want teams to have that little feistiness no matter what.
I agree. You hate when you're looking at the schedule already and you're like, oh man, that's just a loss. There's nothing our team is going to do between now and the early 2000 Patriots. We're not going to do anything. We're going to lose that game.
Right.
A lot less of that nowadays, which is exciting. We'll get into football later. We're going to do the divisions.
Oh, okay.
Predict winners. You ready for that?
I'm excited.
Okay, we'll predict winners for the divisions. We won't go team by team who's going to how is each team going to rank overall? Who's our worst team this year? Arizona Cardinals. Who's our best team this year? Up for debate. We'll just do the divisions. We can do teams later. Before we get into football, though, end of summer, end of baseball. And let me tell you.
Baseball sucks.
As a fan, just the season is so damn long. And we had such good hopes. And the Diamondbacks are one of 4 teams, including the Reds, for people who are like, oh, the Reds are so good, Elliot Cruz, that are winless since the All-Star break. And the
All-Star break or trade deadline?
Or trade deadline. I'm sorry,
Okay.
trade deadline hit. The Reds, the Diamondbacks are winless since then. We're 0-6.
I think the Mets are with you too.
There was another team. I was trying to find it. I couldn't find it. The only team that is undefeated, guess?
Texas Rangers.
Texas Rangers. Did you know that?
Yeah, I retweeted that.
You retweeted that?
That might have been where you saw it.
Oh.
I have this one right here. Record since the trade deadline.
Oh.
6-0.
Nice.
Yeah.
How are the Yankees?
Not good. 3-3.
3-3. The Angels.
Bad team.
The Angels.
Bad team.
Did you think Ohtani stays?
Well, the whole point of them not trading him was like, we're going to make a push, and they have not shown that they're going to make a push right now since the deadline. 0-6 since the deadline?
They weren't very good before the deadline. It wasn't like they were winning their division.
No.
They
were just a wild card.
Yeah.
That was their hope, was like, wild card stuff. Since the All-Star break,
Diamondbacks are
5-17.
Probably 5-18 from last night.
Yeah, maybe it didn't include last night. I don't know.
It's been a terrible year. It's been the Yankees.
You and our friend Tony spoke very, very quickly that the NL West was yours, that the Dodgers stink and the Padres stink.
The Padres do stink.
Padres? Okay.
Padres
but then you can also say the Diamondbacks. Look, it's still open.
Yeah.
The Diamondbacks are still above 500.
Right.
Very similar boat to the Yankees. You just have to, you're running out of games. And I think that's what these players almost take for granted. It's it's August. It's not June anymore. You can blow some games every now and then, but at the end of the day, you got to start winning something if you want to make a push. Otherwise, you're just going to be one of these stupid 500 teams that doesn't get in.
Yeah,
that's what the Angels have been doing for 15 years.
Well, I think the Diamondbacks they're a young team. I don't think they were supposed to be where they're at right now. You got a lot of not established leadership in that locker room. Corbin Carroll's the most exciting player. I won't even say he's the best player right now. I'd say that's Ketel Marte. And not to get too political here, but when you get a lot of guys from outside the U.S. and communication becomes tough in a locker room, it's hard when one of your best players, Ketel Marte, to be a leader when communication in itself is difficult.
Yeah, I think you're right too. When expectations aren't super high, but then you start off hot. Baseball, more than any other sport, is the biggest sport of averages, and stuff just will find its median. So, unfortunately, guys will just level out. It's a long-ass season, so hot starts will kind of simmer. You just hope that they make a push. That's what you just want: meaningful baseball at the end of the year. And if it's not there, then that's when it's oh, it sucks. Even if there's a glimmer of hope, I hate the Yankees right now. I think they're a mess. But if there's a glimmer of hope that they might sneak into a wild card, that's cool. But they have been a disaster too.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to say you made the wild card. I don't think after watching since the All-Star break and since the trade deadline, I don't think even if the Diamondbacks made it in as a wild card, they'd be done quick.
You never know. You have one All-Star pitcher might be able to carry you. It's all about timely stuff.
Except Zach Gallen, who was the premier All-Star pitcher for the NL, I think hasn't won a game. He has not. I don't think he's won a game since coming back from the All-Star break. It's been tough. I think Corbin Carroll, because it's a popularity contest with your record, right? I think he has an opportunity to lose the Rookie of the Year, even though he's had the best home run and stolen base combo since Mike Trout, and he's the second fastest to do it. But it's unfortunate. But yeah, that's why the 2001 World Series teams right now suck.
Yeah, we'll save the Mets or the Yankees talk for probably never because no one truly cares, but because they're just a disaster. I mean, I just saw Carlos Rondon got DL'd or IL'd rather. It's a joke. The whole team sucks. One of their players got kicked out for being drunk in the clubhouse. They're a joke. So. It could not come at a better time for football being back because baseball is at a pretty tough point.
So I love you, August.
And the Yankees, all things considered.
Do you know what's around the corner when you get to August?
College football.
College football, pumpkin pie, pumpkin spice lattes.
It's not 112.
It's not 112.
By the way, the tight end, your boy.
Who? Oh, Mike Kazicki. Yeah. Big Mike. But, I mean, I've already heard the fan base hating on him. So They'll lump something like, Mike's never been a, run block type of guy, and he's never been a fast guy. He's just been he's like his hands are amazing. Like he can get up and get you the ball, and he's a big target.
And they got Hunter Henry. They got two good tight ends.
How tall is Hunter Henry?
6'5".
He looks 6'1" on TV. You watch Hunter Henry, doesn't look that big.
What's Mike's height? 6'6". They got those are some good tight ends. It's like Gronk and Aaron Hernandez, except it's not.
Who's gonna be Aaron Hernandez?
No one, hopefully.
Okay.
You don't need that.
Oh man. Well, we did the fight. Did you see the fight? The Tim Anderson fight?
Yeah, that dude sucks.
Did you see the suspensions handed out?
Yeah, he got
the
6
most
games. Good. He sucks.
He gets knocked out, and he gets the most games on a suspension.
He's apparently very disliked, so I'm sure people were pretty pumped that he got hit.
Well, the other guy was Ramirez.
Mm-hmm.
He said that he's told him before, have like be better or something like that. Like I've talked to him before about his attitude, but to get knocked out and then have the most is game suspended. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, like double embarrassing.
Mm-hmm. He was like carried off, but like he couldn't even be carted off, and then he kept stumbling. Yeah,
like at that point, you might as well just like take all the energy in your body to just be like, don't look stupid. There's so many cameras right now. Like just stand there. But to try to walk and know you can't walk and then you look worse, tough look.
Yeah, bad. But I bet you he's excited for football season now.
Yeah, he's probably pretty pumped for football season since the White Sox are pretty weird.
But you know that before we get into football, you know what we have been keeping the people on edge for?
Oh.
You know.
KIMADE?
KIMADE!
KIMADE is the Alani flavor of energy drink made by the Princess Kim Kardashian herself. So, full disclosure, I've had it. It was a little warm, so I wanted to give it another shot where it's not as warm. Oh boy, this is cold.
KIMADE? Alani shunned us. Really. We were a whole 20 followers deep on Instagram, and we said, hey, Alani, how about we do a collab? They don't know who Kyle is. They don't understand or respect the years that you put into this and the passion.
That's so good. Colder.
So Kyle,
everything's good cold. Yeah. I've rated this before. If you follow the gram, you know. I didn't give it a bad rating.
No, you didn't. 7-1.
7-1. Yeah. I would say there's not a ton of bite, which is kind of good in some ways.
Yeah, it kind of lacks. That's where it kind of loses me.
But they try to do that with lemonades because they want to make it taste like lemonade. They don't want to taste like a energy drink. I would say this is like a...
I've got my score.
Brick cold, which it is, which is great. This is more approaching like that 7-8 material.
That's pretty high.
It's pretty high. This is, you can go to the store and look at it and go, okay, I'll get it if it's there. Will I go out of my way? Probably not. But if it's there and I see it, I'm like, yeah, sure. It's very good.
I like the cherry better.
Okay.
I like the Cosmic Blast better.
That one's tough.
But I also like Celsius better.
Really?
I'd rather have the tropical vibe or that fantasy vibe, that marshmallow one. This one's still, like, I think I gave it 5 originally off the dome.
Yeah.
This one's in the 6s for me.
Okay.
6-6. Just because 6-5 is kind of a lame score.
Yeah, look, I can see it. It's not my favorite, but ice cold might be skewing the number. 7-8. That's an ice cold Kim K, KIMADE, Alani. The bottle's a little bit too masculine for me.
You know what I don't like? Okay. KIMADE, Alani by Kim K. It's on there twice. The flavor's not on here.
Yeah, it's KIMADE flavor.
So you're just assuming
supposed to know that that's some sort of lemonade, I guess, but it's KIMADE. Also, tough. Like, if you're Kim Kardashian, is this all you can drink now?
Mm.
Like, you can't not drink this.
I couldn't do that. The Monster Zero Sugar is probably the like OG best 0 right now.
Yeah, but you get tired. I've gotten tired of it. Like I had to take a break, and then I just recently bought a new pack. But
And
what's the rating?
It's like an 8 out of 10.
oh, rookie
yeah,
score
it's,
though. Rookie score.
Like,
You got to give it, a non-rookie score. So like 8.8.
8?
Whoa.
Oh, so
okay,
low 8,
okay,
low 8. Okay,
That's
all
pretty
right,
good.
low 8. Okay.
But also, I wouldn't drink the whole thing.
Yeah, you
Like,
probably shouldn't. It's too much caffeine. You put it back on the table.
I think it says you can't drink it if you're under.
Yeah,
It's
don't
like
let the
alcohol.
cops know.
Yeah, don't let any police officers know. No,
Kyle's
it's fine.
Kyle 7'8", Mia 8'1", 6'6",
All over the spectrum,
all over the spectrum.
but it's not. It's all the scores are above 6'6". So
Yeah, if someone was like, "Oh, this is it," you could live.
yeah, if someone said, "Is this good?" You'd go, "Yeah." You'd go, "I think so," based off of 3 scores.
I think so. Well, you gave something a 3-1. Oh, strawberry lemonade Celsius.
It was strawberry lemonade. Science was so bad. Holy cow! So compared to that, this is the same flavor. This is better.
You had that a 3-1.
It was poor. Look for it. It's awful. I like Giants, and some people
I'm not
don't.
looking for it.
It's terrible.
I think right now my favorite, just to kind of drink casually, the Oasis, the Celsius Oasis 5.
I can't believe you drank that. That's tough.
You don't like the Celsius Oasis 5?
I don't like any of the Celsius.
I think you're a hater. You know who likes Celsius?
You?
Jake Paul.
No, he has Prime.
No, when they fought in that match, it was all Celsius, Live Fit.
Why is he not doing Prime?
Well, I mean, he has Prime, but he got paid. Is Prime him or is Prime his brother, Logan?
Oh, good question. I don't know the lore of the Prime drinks. I don't know the stories.
Well,
That's a big who cares is the Jake Paul, Logan Paul people. I don't know them.
let me ask you a question. I was thinking about this. Kind of get a little, just really quick. Logan Paul does the WWE.
Yeah.
Okay, he showed up to the match wearing his full yellow jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Jake Paul does real fighting.
True.
But Logan Paul, if you watch that thing, like the highlights, that's like flipping the air and knows a lot of acrobats.
True athlete.
True. But Jake Paul gets legitimately punched in the face by Nate Diaz. Which one do you like? What is the
Harder sport.
Yeah, which one would you be more proud to be?
Which one's more scripted? That's my question.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. Jake Paul wanted to knock him out.
Nate Diaz wanted to put him in a chokehold.
Yeah, that was
Should've.
great. They want to do an MMA fight. I think Jake Paul needs to get away from that.
Yeah, he should. He seems to be decently he's obviously picking his opponents quite well.
Yeah,
but he seems to be getting this down. He's a big dude. He's like 6'3".
I think that's what was alarming was how much bulkier he was.
Yeah, steroids are a health thing, man. When you have that much money.
Nate Diaz. That was a good fight. You didn't want it. It was pay-per-view. I watched it for free because I was working.
Oh, right.
And I was watching it on TV, and it was free.
Was it a good fight, or was it just a fight?
It was good. It's funny, the entire bar, because we live in southern Arizona, the entire bar wanted Diaz to win.
Yeah.
And they were like, every time he got like a jab, and they're like, yeah, and they're losing their minds. Then Jake Paul would just give a stronger, harder jab, and they just
silent.
Like one dude. I thought I was going to have to say that dude's life.
Yeah, probably. Because
when Nate Diaz got him in the guillotine, just locked him up, the entire bar was like, yeah. I'm like, you can't do that.
Dude, can you imagine if he would have just not let go? He should have just been like, this is it.
I'm going to knock him out.
I'm going to choke him out.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? They're going to fire me? Like, it's a fake thing.
He gets -1 point.
Yeah, like, who cares? That would have been awesome.
But we ran into a guy that we know, and he's like, what do you think about the fight? And I was like, I mean, the problem is Jake Paul's fighting dudes who he's only fought one true boxer.
And he lost.
And he lost.
Yeah.
And he's fighting dudes that are past their prime,
old,
and are just doing it for a payday.
Which is fine. But
yeah, good for them.
Yeah, we just got to see through it.
Nate Diaz knocks a guy out in the middle of a bar randomly, realizes he has $1 million lawsuit coming. Let me fight Jake Paul and make that money back.
True. For 2 hours of my life, I can make a ton of money. It's smart. I get it. But also, we should have the Paul brothers fight. That would be cool.
That would be good. Both. One like real boxing and then one.
And the loser has to die. So then it becomes like a real. There's stakes.
To go to the Japanese forest.
And then, yeah, true. That's one of the best videos of all time.
Oh.
That's deep YouTube lore for all you old heads.
Yeah. Being colored.
People forget that dude was the first guy to get canceled probably ever.
Jake Paul?
Yeah.
And then he comes back and he buys $1 million Pokemon cards. Let's get off of them. We gave them too much time.
True.
There was big shakeups that helped our Twitter. Like, where Twitter was going off, we were staying on top of it. If you're not following us on Twitter, you were missing out on the Big 12 Pac-4 debacle. And we have a little inside scoop.
I know, this is big.
We have an inside scoop.
People don't understand. This is going to be like the headline for our YouTube video. It's going to be like inside scoop.
Inside scoop. So the Big 12, if you someone made fun of me, but if you go on Twitter and you just follow the right people, you can read and you can pick up all the info. And it just depends if you trust the guy or not, right? So you just have to see, what has he been right about before in the past? Maybe if you know somebody, you can get a little information. So here we go. The Big 12 scooped up Colorado, Arizona, ASU, Utah. Okay?
Yeah.
And we're going to go back in time for the viewers real quick. Early last year, USC, UCLA leave for the Big Ten. Bye-bye. They see the writing on the wall. They understand there's no money. Go back to 2012, 2016, somewhere in that time frame. The Pac-10 at the time, Pac-12, had the largest TV deal, $3 billion from ESPN.
Whoa.
And to have the biggest TV deal. Because of that, Texas, Oklahoma State, another school wanted to come, and we were going to pick them up.
The Conference of Champions?
Conference of Champions was going to pick up and become like Pac-16. But the old heads, the old money, are like, no, we're an elite program. Our schools educationally are one of the best. We're not picking up Texas. We're not picking up agricultural schools. And they didn't pick them up. Fast forward to what happens with the UCLA, USC, and now the Big 12 is poaching the Pac-9. Colorado's came from the Big 12. When they moved to the Pac, that was the time frame that they were going to absorb all of them. They never did. So Colorado just went back home.
That's cool, though. Good for
Colorado's like, we're just getting out. So then it came down to, what is Arizona, ASU, what are they going to do?
Yeah, big schools. What are we going to do?
And the inside information, one evening, Arizona says, we're leaving. We're going to the Big 12. The following morning, the Pac-12 president says, let me talk to you guys one more time. It was all, and I'm telling you for a fact, it was all agreed upon that all 9 schools were going to sign and stay the Pac-9, and they were going to pick up San Diego State.
The Aztecs.
Okay.
That
was almost confirmed. If you were on Twitter and you're like, why is everyone saying maybe not the Big 12 now? I thought it was guaranteed. If you're following us, that's because the night before, they all agreed to stay together.
Interesting.
They all wanted to stay together. Before the day that Arizona announced Big 12, that morning they had the meeting. Arizona everyone signed except Washington and Oregon, and they told the presidents, we're leaving, we're not signing this.
They wanted more money.
They wanted $30 million guaranteed. The Pac-12 was getting $20 million guaranteed from Apple subscriptions. They wanted $30 million guaranteed. Did not happen. Therefore, they told them we're walking, and that's what crumbled the deal.
It seems like they just did that because they knew they were out anyway, at least those two, and they were just like, you'll never be able to match this. So
Right.
We're going to ask for it, and it'll be our excuse to leave, which is whatever.
Well, I learned that the night it happened. When Arizona and the Big 12 signed and they put out their cool little photos and everything, that night I learned that that's why the deal collapsed. Fast forward to today, and you'll see the Arizona president's talking about it. He's saying that Oregon and Washington called him personally and said, hey, we know we're about to have this meeting. We're going to the Big Ten. We're already signing with them. Good luck at the meeting.
It's pretty cool. I like it. I'm a big realignment guy.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
So now you got to go to today and you got to say what's going on. And we'll get as soon as we got it. And right here, Stanford, not going to the Big 12. Stanford's come out and said we're not going to do it.
They're going to just stay in their Pac-4.
Stanford, Big 12 has no appetite to add any of the Pac-4 schools or San Diego State. We have no interest in doing anything. We're done. That's what the Big 12 is saying. The Big 12 is done adding. They don't want the other 4 teams.
I think it's reasonable for them to be done. Like they just did one of the biggest things ever, and they were just like, let's see how it goes. Let us see how it goes.
Let's
for now.
breathe. Yeah. All this work is going on, and they're not even doing it for this year.
Yeah, that's tough too, because this year's going to be kind of weird because you're just like, oh, hello, we're in the Pac-12 for now, and then we're gone, but we'll have fun this year.
Here it is right here. ESPN has signaled that they may want the Big 12 to hold tight. So ESPN's telling Big 12,
chill out.
Yeah,
we can't have this many teams.
Well, the reason they're doing that is the SEC has told them that they're going to a 9-game conference schedule.
Which they should. I'm so tired of the cupcake bullshit schedules that all these big schools get to do. I remember back in the day, Alabama would play 3 schools that were like for the deaf and blind to start their year, and then they get to play all these other schools afterwards. You should play good schools the whole year.
Right.
The whole year. I get for basketball, there's a ton of games you have to get through. So you want to start some warm-up games that no one even considers and takes anyway. Football, you play 10, 11, 12 games. Like, you should not have 3 of your games against bullshit. You should have to play against hard schools the whole year. So That's what this is going to cause. And I think that's what's going to cause people that they don't see in the future, the heartache of like, your school is going to lose games earlier than you ever are used to. And you're going to be like, what the hell? We suck? No, it's because you're playing harder schools now constantly. That's how it should be. But it's going to be a wake-up check for like these schools that don't get to play against like the D1,
Appalachian State.
Yeah, D1 AA. They don't get to pay for wins anymore at the beginning of the year, which is whatever. My personal take on that, I've always been against it. I think it's bullshit. I think you get to look at a blind resume and be like, oh, this team is 8-1. Yeah, well, 3 of their wins are bullshit. They get to play schools that are not even in their conference, and they're bad. They don't get scholarships as much as them. So I think it's going to be cool for that. That's why I'm excited for it. They actually real games, real schools in September, not in October, November.
Yeah, like the first week, you're excited. Football's back. College football comes back earlier than the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually get to see competitive football and a team you're excited about. And then you have Alabama playing.
Yeah, like Southern Alabama State, who doesn't have a team.
And the score's 72-10 at the end. And you're like, why did we watch this?
I get maybe one game, maybe one as your week 0 warm-up. And then after that, you want to have all these awesome big conferences, then you better play conference schools the whole time. That's what makes sense.
And now you have 16 team conferences that can fill your entire schedule.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to go out and have Arizona play NAU.
Right. It shouldn't happen anymore now. Starting next year, it should not happen. You should have to play, even if it's like not in your specific, like the Big Ten has like the 2 sets in between, like you should have to play one of those schools. Like, oh, well, we never usually play them. They're not in our direct Big Ten conference, but sorry, you don't get to play against bullshit anymore. You have to play against real schools.
I'm excited for that. Yeah, I'm sure ESPN's going to like that too. They get way more viewership from competitive games.
Yeah. Yep. The good old boy fans are going to be bummed because, a team like Texas A&M is going to have to play against good schools all the time now. And that's fine. But I'm excited for it. I think it's cool. And you know how you make your school money? Because a lot of people are also concerned that rivalries are going to go away. You just schedule
the rivalry.
Yeah, right. That's how you make money. Like, I don't understand why that's such a crazy concept. Is like, you don't think U of A and ASU are going to play each other?
Right. Well, now they went to the Big 12, they get to stay together.
Right.
But like Oregon and Oregon State, if those guys are allowed to schedule 3 non-conference games this year or next year until it's reworked, just schedule them. If you get 1 non-conference game a year, schedule Oregon State.
Right.
Just have that. Yeah.
And if you're like, hey, but we might lose, that's part of it, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry that you want to make money or you want to win. It's got to be a happy medium. Just schedule games that people want to go see. They'll make you money, and hopefully they'll make your team better because maybe they'll win or not. I don't know.
And you get to still fight for whatever the Civil War is what
right, the stupid stuff
the
like
Apple
that.
Cup.
But just do it. Just schedule it instead of scheduling cupcake games.
The last thing that they heard about the Pac-4 was that they wanted to get Big 12. They couldn't. They were thinking about Mountain West Conference, but on the call, Stanford said no, absolutely not. And you feel bad for Stanford because they are a Ivy League school.
Mm-hmm.
They have a great history in all sports.
Yep.
Katie Ledecky's a Stanford grad.
Yep. Great women's sports, great men's sports all around.
And now they should
stuck.
just go independent.
Or
I think they feel bad for Cal.
Or do we save the Pac-12?
Cal, what do you got for us?
Okay. So this is my Pac-12 save. And look, I'm coming from a very outside perspective. I don't give a shit about the Pac-12. But if I was in my very college uneducated mind, I would say if I really wanted to save this Pac-12 and make it the Conference of Champions again, I would say we're going to go all in and be a basketball conference.
Okay.
Our football conference is not going to be good. So this is
get my KIMADE real quick.
Okay. This is what we would do. I went through the conferences that have teams that have had success in basketball that are not part of the biggest conferences. From the A10, I would take Dayton.
Ooh,
Dayton
I like that.
That's a realistic school that I know they're located in Ohio, so they're not on the Pacific Coast, but that's this realistic school where you could be like, hey, you guys have done really well in hoops. We can upgrade you. Come to the Pac-12. That's realistic. From the ACC, this is my unrealistic ones, but I would, again, throw the bag at these schools. I would throw the bag at Pitt.
I like it.
I'd throw the bag at Wake Forest.
Okay.
Again, Pitt, Wake Forest, both very similar schools to like a Cal and Stanford, where they're good schools academically.
And they're both going to want out the ACC soon. The ACC
Right.
is the next one to get chopped.
Yes. And then I would throw the bag at Duke and North Carolina. And I would say, why don't you guys come join this conference? The ACC sucks. Come out of there. You guys can be the stars of the Pac-12. From the Big East, I would throw the bag at UConn.
Okay.
I'd throw the bag at Marquette,
Okay.
Xavier,
Okay.
and Creighton. Those are 4 schools, and I would just throw the bag at them and say, here you go. Come to the Pac-12. From the WCC, you take Gonzaga and you take St. Mary's. Throw the bag. Come to our conference. You don't want to be in that stupid – those are more realistic because those 2 schools would be like, that'd be kind of cool to go to the Pac-12. And then from the Mountain West, you take San Diego State.
What would that put you at? How many teams?
If all of them accepted, I think it's 13. But obviously, there's some stretches like Duke and North Carolina are probably going to be lame. But and same with UConn because they can get more money from the Big East because they're the kings of the Big East. But it's like, why wouldn't a school like Xavier or Creighton or Gonzaga and St. Mary's that would be their next step for making tons of money? They've already all these schools, by the way, that I mentioned, finished within the top 50 before the tournament started last year for March Madness. All of them were in the top 50 for basketball. So you're not getting scrubs.
I mean, it's you. If you're Oregon State, you don't like that because your basketball team would immediately be at the bottom. But you would definitely have schools that have money, the means to travel and help out the conference,
right?
And you would drive viewership. I think that's a pretty interesting concept.
Just
someone else had another one. They said call it the National Conference, the National 12, the National 13. But this is the way conference alignment's going. Nobody cares about regions anymore.
Right, and I think that you have to take a step back. Like, look at the Big East right now. They're not a football conference. They suck at football. So you have to just be like, hey, we're going to do that. We're going to be basketball. There's money in basketball right now. Let's just do it. Let's just try to keep up. I mean, if you somehow pulled any of those schools, it would be a bonus. You're not getting crap. Like, I'm not saying for the Pac-12 to go out and get like a bottom of the barrel team. Like, these are all top 50 schools for basketball, and they're all good schools academically. But I don't know. I don't see it happening. I think that they're going to dissolve, and then maybe one day they'll just come back because the schools will get tired of too many schools in their conference. And they'll be
too much like travel time.
Yeah,
they're just wears on it.
Let's make our own conference, and we'll call it the Pac-12.
How many schools fly charter?
I don't know. It's going to be crazy when like Rutgers has to go to UCLA for like a women's lacrosse game on a Tuesday night.
Right.
Like,
and what do you do?
Like,
we got to leave, and then we got to catch a plane in Chicago, and then we got to take a flight out of Chicago. Like,
it's going to be pretty nuts for that, but also cool. They're kids; they can get through it. So
yeah, we're not talking about geriatrics over here trying to get a chest term. We're talking about young adults who have the time and energy. And I'm sorry, but it's 2023. You can do your homework on the airplane.
Ooh.
Don't give me this. When are you going to get your homework done? My kids get their homework done on the way from school to practice in the car.
Okay.
If high schoolers can figure it out, then grown-ass adults can figure it out. I'm excited to look forward to – like I said, if you're watching us on Twitter, if you're on our Twitter feed, we're just constantly updating when it comes to this conference merger stuff. It's very interesting. It's huge. I'm excited for Arizona to be part of the Big 12. I think they're going to a really good basketball school and a good football school. And I think the Big 12, it's currently the three. You have the Big 10, you have the SEC, and then you're going to have the Big 12. But I like where they're at. I was seeing this today. The most overall complete school to be like in the Big 12 after the merger. So you're going to lose Texas, you're going to lose Oklahoma. Kansas doesn't have a really good football team. Kansas State sometimes has a really good football team and sometimes has a really good basketball team.
Yeah, they've been pretty consistent.
Baylor,
good,
but have they been as good since the RG3 errors? So, Arizona comes in top 5, in my opinion, in the Big 12.
For basketball?
For overall.
Yeah, but their football team stinks, dude.
Well, their football team stinks until, I followed the dude on Twitter about this. Guess who currently has the number 1 recruiting class for 2024 in the Big 12?
I don't know.
Arizona. Arizona has a 30th ranked overall recruiting class for football. They have a 5-star.
They'll need to keep up because it's going to suck if they go, 1-9 in conference play.
Well, what's
Rutgers
that
has been there, and it's awful because then everyone starts making the jokes about, well, at least U of A will have the basketball backing, but they'll be like, get these dudes out of here. What are they doing? And also, breaking news is from ESPN that the ACC is reaching out to Cal and Stanford.
Kind of like your idea.
But backwards. So the other schools are like, oh, these two schools could come to us and play against Duke and Wake Forest.
You're kind of a visionary.
No, I think it just makes sense. It's just right in the this sounds better for those two schools because they're just like, oh, cool. We don't have to deal with anything else. We just get to join a good basketball conference. Cool.
All right, well, let's get into the football.
Okay.
Let's talk it. We don't have much time left. We're going to get away. Football season
just started.
We're going to have plenty of time. If you're wondering where Mr. Picks went, he's dormant. You can
till football season.
Probably, save your money. Go to Chase Bank. Open up a new checking account for $200 and get your $200.
Right.
Yeah, take your money and save it because we're gonna bet like crazy. Crazily responsibly.
Mm-hmm.
Follow us. We're gonna throw them out. We're gonna make a lot of money this year on football.
Okay.
All right. I'm excited for it. I'm gonna take all my money out of Dogecoin.
Oh no, you're not.
Put it into Barstool Sportsbook or BetMGM is what Mr. Picks uses.
Oh, okay.
We're making money. But let's go. NFL. There are 8 divisions.
Yeah.
Okay.
4-4.
4-4. Not too much rhyme or reason behind it.
Yeah.
I want you to give you yours, and then I'll give mine. Okay? Don't be a homer, and we're going to save the AFC East for last.
Okay.
Let's start off locally. NFC West. Cardinals, Rams, Niners, Seahawks. Who do you got winning?
The Niners seem to be the pick. Obviously, health is their biggest concern, but offense and defense, they seem to be like that team is going to be crazy. And I think they're almost overlooked.
Okay.
They were so good last year. They were a quarterback that could stand up on his feet away from making the Super Bowl, and they seem to just get better. I think they're going to be scary but health. Hopefully that sucks because I'm going to say that about every team, but I would love to watch them healthy because they're going to be really scary.
Brock Purdy is going to have a sophomore slump, or you think he'll?
Dude, that's going to be the weirdest thing too. He came out of nowhere, did really well. I hope that he continues success. He has the best offensive line, arguably. He's a really good coach, really good running back, great weapons around him. It has that Mark Sanchez Jets feel where it's up to him. How far is he going to carry them because the rest of the team's ready to go?
I agree. I'm going to go – it's a coin flip between the Seahawks and the Niners. I think the only reason that I'm going to go Niners is CMC. They're going to have a full offseason with him. They're going to have him the entire year.
Yep, true.
And we know who the Seahawks are. Geno Smith can have a good year, but can Geno Smith's great year overcome a good year from CMC and a decent year from Brock Purdy?
I'm going to say no.
I'm gonna go Niners. Seahawks very close. We'll stay on the West Coast, AFC West. We got to rapid fire these. Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers.
The Chiefs are the obvious pick. They have the most weapons. They have the best quarterback in the league right now. They've done it before. That team it looks awesome always. So I do think that they're going to have a weird, not the best right off the bat year. I think the Super Bowl hangover thing might be kind of real for them this year specifically. But I still think they're going to kick ass. I don't think they're going to go undefeated. Now, you can clip that when they do. But I 12 wins sounds like a reasonable year for them. But that's also the expectation. So I think they're going to do it. I don't think the rest of the division is very good. I think the Broncos with Sean Payton are going to be kind of interesting, but Raiders stink. And what's the other team there? The Chargers.
Okay, so I'm going to go Chargers.
Okay.
And the reason I'm going to go Chargers is kind of what you said. Travis Kelce being a weirdo in training camp. I don't like the vibes. Can Patrick Mahomes overcome all that? Yeah, probably. I think you're right. Chiefs is the pick to go. I'm going to go a little unconventional. Chargers.
I know you're a big Herbert guy. So.
I hate Herbert. Let's go. So we got Chargers in the AFC West. AFC South. We got Texans, Colts, Jaguars, Titans. Only 2 real teams are going to compete this year. What do you got?
I like the Jaguars with Trevor Lawrence just being in the league this much longer. They seem to have had some nice little free agency for the first time in a while. I think they're going to do it. That division sucks to me. The Colts are in a weird year with the quarterback thing. That's going to bite them in the ass. It's going to be one of those classic, how long do we wait until we start Anthony Richardson? Could be week 1 if he has a dominant camp. And
I think they just start on week 1.
I know, and is it going to be the best for him? Who knows? He might be awesome, or he might do one of those things where he could have really benefited from a year off. Texans stink, but they did spend a lot of money this year. But I think the Jaguars are the easy pick, the safer bet.
I'm gonna go Titans.
Okay.
They brought in DeAndre Hopkins. They still got Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill's a very vet. He's been to the playoffs before. I'm gonna go Titans.
Do you trust Tannehill as a?
Tannehill's the next Dolphin. I don't trust Tannehill in the playoffs.
I know.
But I think he can have a good season.
Yeah.
NFC South: Falcons, Panthers, Saints, Buccaneers.
I think I like. Oh man, I think that the answer that this is going to be the weirdest conference to me, and they always are weird because they always flip who wins each year. I think the Saints are going to have a cool year. I think Carr might have a nice little reemergence, but I kind of like the Bucs with Baker Mayfield. I've always been a believer in that guy. I think he's just had a weird, similar to Jets situations where he got put in a really crappy spot. I think this could be good for him. I know all the stuff at camp, they show all of his incompletions, but I think I like the Bucs if I had to pick.
I don't like the Bucs. He's had 9 interceptions in a
big deal.
Camp thing. 9 interceptions is a big deal. I'm gonna go with that conference stinks. Saints.
You like Carr?
Just Derek Carr resurgence. He has a new coach who kind of likes him.
Would you rather have Carr or Tua?
Tua.
Oh.
AFC North: Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Steelers, and you're fighting the clock here, Kyle. Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Steelers. The easy answer: Joe Burrow. Who finishes last? I think I like this one better.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Okay. I think the easiest pick's the Bengals, and there's just no rhyme or reason behind that. I like the Ravens to finish last.
Yeah, it's good with the whole Lamar Jackson thing. Him getting finally paid, and then he could have a fuck off year. Totally happens. But
this is a favorite in our office: NFC North: Bears, Lions, Packers, Vikings.
Lions.
I like that too.
Yeah.
Would Dan Campbell wanted to put a lion on the sideline?
He should have.
They should have let
him do it.
You take that mentality. I liked them last year. I agree with you. Lions.
Bears over under wins for me is 3. They're gonna suck. They're gonna have to deal with not having a quarterback for the first time in 30 years.
Bears or Packers?
Packers.
You said
suck.
Oh, yeah, Bears also. Bears have a running back.
I think the Bears will be frisky. I do.
Okay, we go Lions, Bears. I'm gonna go Lions. Vikings, maybe Kirk Cousins. I don't know, but we gotta move on. We don't have much time. NFC East: Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, Commanders.
The Eagles are the easy pick for that.
Yeah, I think the Eagles will dominate. I think that people want to say the NFC East is better or one of the top conferences. I think the Cowboys have a terrible year without Zeke, or they haven't even signed Tony Pollard yet. The Commanders, nobody knows, are they going to be the Redskins again?
Which would be cool.
The Giants, it's all on Daniel Jones' shoulders, really. If Daniel Jones is going to have a stellar year like he can kind of have, then they're going to compete, but the Eagles is the easiest pick. And then last but not least.
I think the Bills are going to do really well this year. I think the Jets have to protect the quarterback, and if it's one of those years where Aaron Rodgers is running for his life, then it's going to be a nightmare. So, I don't know. We'll see how the rest of camp goes. I would like to see him in a preseason game, but we'll see.
Who are you picking?
I think the Bills were going to win that.
Okay. You didn't say win. You thought they were going to have a good
No, they're going to – I think they'll win 12, 13 games this year for sure.
The Bills.
Josh Allen's going to carry them. He always does.
I like the Bills too. You want to go with your team, you really do, but we all know that's a homer take. and your heart is not as smart as your brain, Bills will have a good year because Josh Allen knows he's getting to the point.
They got to win in the playoffs though, because if they don't, it's going to be a joke.
So I think Josh Allen has an MVP type year. I would almost bet money on him. Listen, we love you. We appreciate you. We're back. Thank you for episode 1. We look forward to the future coming up with the NFL. We're going to have lots of picks. Please follow us on Instagram. Please follow us on Twitter. Please like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one.